Welcome to podcasts recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning and welcome to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living. We are a science of mind community that teaches spiritual principles to transform our lives and make the world a better place. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. All we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. My name is Nancy Ashley, a very grateful practitioner here at the center. So we have a number of announcements to begin with. Welcome to all of you that are watching us on Facebook Live right now. We also have a Wednesday meditation every Wednesday now at 7 o'clock, and it is, of course, by Zoom. This week, practitioner Kate Barrett will be presenting our monthly Taizé service. So that's at 7 o'clock, and the Zoom link for that is on our website, cslportland.org, or if you get the weekly email, it's also on that. Another weekly event now is Friday's Lunch with Reverend Larry, which is also on Zoom at 11:30 on Friday. And after a check-in, this is, of course, virtual bring your own lunch, we'll discuss some of the material from his current book, Shawn Anchor's Big Potential. So join us for that. Our special guest, who is our music director, LaRhonda Steele, and our fabulous Friends Band. Thank you. We also have online Zoom groups for our Social Justice Book Club and our 12-step program for women. So join us, and again, the Zoom links are on our website. So now I'd like to ask licensed practitioner Marilyn Sprague to come up and talk about two of the classes we're offering this fall.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. Portland Center for Spiritual Living is thrilled to be offering two specific sessions that are pertinent to this now moment in creation. So starting on October 5th, 5 Monday nights, Reverend Larry will be facilitating Me and White Supremacy. This is an opportunity, and it's specifically tailored for individuals who are of white descendants, because it's an opportunity to begin to look at what is our role in eliminating the divisive white supremacy system. This course was recently offered by CSL, and I can highly recommend it. I participated in this 5-week book study. It is a commitment to journaling every single day, to heightening awareness of the systemic injustice that white supremacy puts in place, and it's a 28-day reflective journaling process. So the process begins Monday night on October 5th and ends Monday night, November 2nd. And it's a 90-minute session each night from 6:30 to 8 p.m. delivered via Zoom, and registrations are currently open on our website. And there is no cost. It is absolutely free. It is an investment of your time in yourself and in helping to create a world that works for everyone. The second offering is spiritual mind treatment, and I will be facilitating that. Again, this is a 5-week class. It starts Tuesday night, October 6th, and it ends on Tuesday night, November 3rd, and we all know that November 3rd is a very important day here in the United States. And it's called How to Treat and Move Your Feet in This Now Creative Moment. And why is it important? The reason it's so important is that prayer is way more powerful. Prayer is taking action, and it is way more powerful than any appearance that exists in the world. So any hatred, any violence, any injustice, anything that is unlike the truth of spirit, prayer is our power to realize truth. So it begins again on Tuesday, October 6th, ends Tuesday, November 3rd. It's from 6 to 8. Cost is $150, and registrations are available online now.
Thank you, Marilyn. And I also highly recommend the Me and White Supremacy class. We have details for joining us on all of the activities at our website, cslportland.org. There's a place there to sign up for our weekly email, which keeps us informed about everything that's going on. And finally, I'd like to invite Reverend Larry and Marilyn Sprague to come up for a special presentation.
Come on up, Marilyn. I know. Oh, am I on? Oh, come on up, Marilyn. Minor glitch, technology, you know. Well, the other thing that we haven't quite let the cat out of the bag yet, you'll notice that Nancy referred to Marilyn Sprague as our licensed practitioner, and that's very true. It's like
Always
once a practitioner, always a practitioner. But today we're also here to celebrate a special achievement. It's also a milestone, and it's also a commitment. Today we celebrate a new minister being licensed with Centers for Spiritual Living. You know, becoming a minister is neither an easy process nor an idle promise. We refer to ministry as a calling because only those people specifically called to it generally have the strength to make their way through it. A ministerial license requires a minimum of 4 years of study and practice. Then you finally become a licensed practitioner. Then the journey begins again with 2 to 4 more years of study, practicums, and more spiritual practice. It requires written and oral exams at both the practitioner stage as well as to pass your final ministerial studies. And finally, and more importantly, it indicates a willingness to give a lifetime of service to Spirit. Marilyn, it was almost exactly 6 years ago, on August 13th, 2014, that right here on this platform, we acknowledged your licensure as a practitioner. And today it is my great honor, my great privilege, really, to honor your licensing as a minister with Centers for Spiritual Living. Marilyn, I have a special gift for you. Now, I don't know how we open this and hold microphones at the same time, but shall we give it a try?
Sure. Nancy, always the support system. Always there in the divine right time. So
you can do that. You can do the card later.
Do that later.
Yeah. But the gift, we gotta get at the gift.
Okay, it says priority mail.
Well, there
so
you
that
go.
must mean priority from the universe.
Whoa. Whoa. So might I present?
I was just going to say.
I'm sure we're risking something here, but if you don't mind.
Love guides, protects, surrounds,
all right.
and holds.
So for those of you who maybe know some of the, what do I want to say, proper etiquette at Centers for Spiritual Living, you'll probably recognize and wonder, that looks like an ordination shawl, and those aren't really given out until a minister is ordained. And well, of course, I look forward to that day.
Another 3 years.
I hope to be here on that day as well with you. But I thought this would touch your heart. It's Reverend Lynn's ordination, so. And I wanted to just start your ministry off, your official ministry, knowing that you are so loved both by Reverend Lynn and myself.
And all of us.
Yeah, that's just...
And I didn't mean to make you cry. Now we hand you the microphone, right, and expect you to make a speech. I'm sorry. But bless you so for being part of our lives, and bless you as you enter into your ministry. And if you can find your voice, you are allowed to say a few words.
Well, Reverend Larry, this is really about your message today, a star system. And that when you say yes to Spirit, a star system is born. And that star system is all the people, all the support, everything that Spirit rushes in to guide, support, inspire, direct. So you needed a learning object for your message today. So here I am in service. But more than that, it's that the star system that revealed itself when I said yes to the calling. PCSL is a major part of the population of that star system. Reverend Lynn, absolutely. Consciousness, Marilyn, it's all consciousness. Thank you. And more in our Zoom session, because you're here to hear Reverend Larry's message, to hear the beautiful music, and to be inspired.
Whew. She's not the only one crying. Okay, so I guess we'd just say sit back and relax, because we know that somewhere between the meditation, the message, and the beautiful music is exactly what your heart came to receive.
Oh, just beautiful. Let's keep this beauty going. Let's breathe into our heart spaces. Feel that love just move all through us as we enter into our time of meditation together. We're just going to cry our way through the song. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God.
And as we go inside into that place of heart connection, of consciousness with all that is, I know that Spirit, God, the Creator, is all that there is. It is the essence of love, the presence of that life force in, through, and as everything, the wisdom, the joy, the peace, the harmony, wholeness, unity. All of these are qualities of that which is, and that includes everything. There is only this one essence in the universe. And so I know that that means that I am an individualized, unique expression of that oneness. And all of these beautiful qualities are imbued within me. They are part of my birthright. And so I know that this is true for every person here, every person listening. We are all part of the unity of oneness. And so I speak my word today for all that are hearing us, that we are united in our common humanity, that we are supporting each other, that we are guided and supported by Spirit always, that we are always able to go within and know that Spirit is guiding us, that Spirit is giving us that which is ours to do. We are the heart, the hands, and the voice of Spirit in our community, in the world, and that we are one with all others. And so as we look at the love, the unity, the wholeness of all together, we know that we are creating a world that works for all, that we are able to be the consciousness that changes everything, that we are able to be that which is needed in the world right now. And so I just give thanks for this, for knowing that Spirit is guiding us always towards the highest and best for all. And so I give thanks for this, and I release my word into the action of the law, knowing that it is already done. The law is manifesting for us that which we claim and affirm. And so I release this, I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. And as we go into a few moments of meditation, I just invite us to think about the guidance and Spirit within us, always available.
Welcome back from the silence. We've got a beautiful song today by Mr. Mark Shepard. Together we can change the world. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out. Find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. I can't do it by myself. life, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Oh, together we can change the world. With our hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together we can change the world. And what if we spoke with one voice, knowing that we have a choice? Together we can change the world. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Oh, together we can change the world. Change your mind and change your life. Set aside the fear and strife. Together we can change the world. When we open up our eyes, that's when we can realize together we can change the world. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Oh, together we can change the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know that it's not too late. Together we can change the world. I believe that it's not too late. Thank you.
Thank you so much, LaRhonda. Happy Sunday, everyone. You know, I've been asked if I would make a comment around what's going on in the world right now. Some people are feeling pretty victimized. Here in the Portland, Oregon area, we're deluged with the smoke and fire from wildfires, as is most of the West Coast. And this, of course, in the midst of a pandemic. Some people are asking me, well, Larry, how does that fit in? How are we not a victim to what's going on in the world? And I have to say it's sort of a bad news story, but it's absolutely a metaphysical bad news story. It's all about unity versus separation. And unfortunately, as a species, I'm not pointing a finger individually at anyone, but as a species, we have been separating ourselves from the planet, and we've been separating ourselves from each other. And so what we're seeing, the effect of global warming, the effect of disenfranchisement and racism, what we're seeing, of course, is metaphysics at work. When we claim separation, when we embark upon separating ourselves from the planet and exploiting it, when we separate ourselves from our fellow humans and exploit them, it's no wonder that we end up in a mess. And so rather perhaps than thinking of ourselves as victims right now, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty going on right now that might make you feel that way, nonetheless, I suggest it's the law of action. It is the divine creative process that we have allowed, we have fostered what's going on right now. Now that's the bad news. I have a good news story too. That was an action from the inside out. That was us feeling separated from the planet, us feeling and acting on being separated from one another. And this month, as you'll know, we're working on unity. We're using this book called Big Potential of Shawn Achors that literally tells us when we work together, when we put up that unified front, when we show the world and ourselves that we're just as connected as we can possibly be, that's what turns the tide. That's when we start creatively looking for ways and solutions and means of upholding the planet, of creating a world that works for everyone through our actions, but more importantly, through that fundamental sense of unity within. When we act in unison with the planet, when we act in unison with one another, knowing that everything, every person, every place, every situation can be looked at as part of the whole of Spirit itself, then we begin making decisions that favor the preservation of the planet, that favor making reparations to people and peoples that have been left behind. And so I encourage you this week to not feel that place of victimhood, but feel that you are at that auspicious moment of making a different choice in your mind, of collaboration versus competition, a different place in your actions and in your heart, to choose something more wisely that benefits not only yourself, but the entire planet. This is a very important time, not of victimhood, but of powerful intention and even more powerful choice. Okay, well, it's time for me to move forward in our book called Big Potential. But I did want to just let you know what's going on right now is not a random event. What's going on right now we are seeing as the fruits of some of our negativity. And we can change that. Well, today what I want to talk about is the idea of creating a star system. And I think the best place to start, if you don't mind, is talking about old Hollywood. I hope some of you are movie buffs, even as I am a great movie buff, and the old movies were the very best. But I bet you didn't know that in the very beginning of Hollywood in California, at the early part of the 20th century, film was considered something beneath most actors. It was seen as a novelty. It was seen as something that you'd pay 25 cents to go see, almost like a peep show, or something that was really disfavored. True actors were stage actors. And because the early film efforts were silent, they were not seen as a positive thing. They were seen as a novelty. And so when some of the early studios first began shooting these silent films, they had some really hard work ahead of them. They had to convince a public that was used to vaudeville, a public that was used to fine live performances, to instead, go to a room and see perhaps poorly projected images on the wall, right? This was actually a hard sell. We're used to movies today being fabulous blockbusters, right? Back then, the screen was small, and to most people, the actors were seen as something even smaller. And so what did they do? Early Hollywood invented what later was known as the star system. And of course, in its later years, it was significantly abused. The studio executives were telling people what color to have their hair and how to have romantic encounters and so on, all for the sake of the studio. But at the beginning, it was a collaboration of producers and directors and small groups of people whose purpose was unified in bringing about a new industry, a new form of entertainment. And to that end, they invented the star system. They took people in, even with meager talent, and they provided training, dance lessons, music lessons, all of the kinds of efforts that would be needed to really produce something that was fun and entertaining to watch on the screen. And everyone was paid pretty equally. There was a machinery around to try to make sure that stars got billing and were highlighted in a way that would intrigue people and want to see the next picture that Jimmy Stewart was in, or the next Edward G. Robinson movie, right? The idea was, how do we, as a group of entertainers, both actors, producers, directors, and soundstage, and so on, how can we create something that the public will find just as entertaining as all get out? And people were encouraged each to better themselves, and were given the resources to improve everything from the photography itself, the filmmaking, to the actors' talents, and so on. Everyone was given everything they needed to succeed. And that was the original star system. It was everyone working in a collaborative way with the sole purpose of elevating this idea of movies into a way that would shake the world. And they achieved it too. They absolutely achieved it. Today, when we think of going to the movies versus going to see a live production, of course, people enjoy both. But most people on the planet are here to go and see the stars in the movies. So how do we apply that to our own big potential? How can we begin applying the star system, if you will, to our own lives? Well, first of all, let's define what we think of as a star. Now, today we have that idea of a star as being that personality. It's all about the individual personalities, and you'll hear about different actors, each almost at war to get the choice parts and things like that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that old initial Hollywood idea. And so it's people who share many of the same goals and values. It's those people who came together in California in 1910 and 1912 and 1915, who wanted to accomplish something together that was fundamentally from that place of a shared goal and a shared ideal. So it's people that come together with that idea of unity, of trying to do something together, but it's also people who think differently, right? We need to have the villains as well as the ingenues. We need to have the people who can write convincing plots. We need to have a variety of different people who actually think differently in order to produce something, in order to have something that appeals to everyone and actually serves everyone. More importantly, perhaps than anything I've said so far, is we need to have people that have a positive outlook on what's going to be created. If you think about it, there's almost a little bit of a formula of talent or capability times our outlook on life. There's an actual multiplier here. It's not enough to have talent. It's not enough to bring what you have to offer to the table. It's how you think about it. It's how you portray it. It's your ability to be motivated and enthusiastic and actually positive about it. No one actually wants what you have to give unless you're upbeat about it, unless you're positive, unless you show some enthusiasm for it. It's the great multiplier. What talent you have is literally multiplied, not just added to, but doubled and tripled by how you look at your life in the world. So in order to reach your full potential, and in particular for your star system, for your team of stars working together to be effective, it's really sensing that enthusiasm for what you're doing together, as well as your own talents, as well as what you bring to the table in your grouping. And when I say grouping here, the star system for you could be just your family, or it could be your place of business. It could be your spiritual community, right? We all have different star systems, and we're all part of multiple star systems. What do you bring to the table? And even more importantly, what is your level of enthusiasm and positivity towards it. So those are the characteristics that I think of in the book Big Potential bring about as true stars. It's people who share the same goals, the same values, some of the same interests. They're interested in working together. They're people who think differently than you, but all support some of those same values and ideas. And then people who have that positive outlook and enthusiasm. And all of that is more primary than the actual talent that they bring. Now think about that for a minute, right? Sometimes we want to go with the idea of an expert. We want to go with the idea of, I'm going to get the very best people in their field. Studies show that that's not as important as people who are working towards the same goal as you, people who are enthusiastic and positive, and people who also wish to contribute in a way that is collaboratory. So there's no use in getting an expert, there's no use in getting the best in their field if they're just in it for themselves, if they just want to be there for their own aggrandizement. It's really important that as we find our collection of friends and coworkers, and as we develop into loving families, that we see ourselves in and together something bigger than just our own self-interest. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about this idea of the star system. The next thing I want to talk about is how we can expand that system, expand into even more potential by helping others. And I think I need today's joke. And my partner Daniel was saying, "Oh, you're not really going to tell that joke, are you?" So you're forewarned and forearmed, I guess. So an executive offered to give one of his employees a ride home. Standing outside the building, the employee was dumbfounded when an automobile pulled up alongside the curb to pick him up. It was an expensive imported sports car. "This is an amazing automobile," the employee remarked. "I don't think I've ever been in a car this luxurious." "It is nice," replied the executive. "And if you set your goals high, if you work extra hard, if you meet all of your objectives, then I can get an even better car next quarter." Well, I hope you're a little outraged. But isn't that the way that we sort of think that big companies work? Isn't that kind of the way we almost assume that collections of people organized around a goal, such as producing things in the world, whether it be automobiles or whether it be widgets or whether it be the electric company or the oil company, we look around us and what we see is that people in groups are still incredibly competing with one another. It's the sales manager that racks up the most points. It's the team that is the most productive out of all the other many teams. It is the individual contributors that meet and exceed their goals or stamp out the most errors, or we set up these really almost antagonistic systems that where some will succeed, a great many other people are going to be seen as mediocre or not able to meet the objective set. And I want to tell you, those kinds of things are not in the end going to produce the kind of potential that we see in organizations where leadership is shared, where goals are made clear, where everyone can succeed and participate to their utmost. And that is what Shawn Achor says in Big Potential, the way that we can work in our own small groups. Now, of course, you're probably not that executive, right? You're probably not in charge of where you work, although some of you may be. But often we are in charge of our own social circles, our own families, our own community collectives, and so on. And we can actually participate in the way that Shawn Achor is talking about. So his examples are, for instance, rather than being cooperation is transactional, meaning if you do this thing, then I'll do that thing. Again, it's moving back like that earlier age in Hollywood, where we all figure out what our collective goals are, and then we almost turn it over to those people with their capabilities, saying, you know, you're smart, you're creative, you're wonderful. Here are all the tools you need. Here's all the training you need. How can we succeed as a team? And how can we even measure our team success? Not you as an individual, but rather how globally we're doing, how we're doing as something bigger than ourselves. And so if there's a bonus to be given, it's the whole team gets the bonus. If there are accolades to be made, it's for teamwork and not individual cooperation. Now you might be asking, well, how can we do that on a more individual level? How could, for instance, how could I do something like that in our family? And I have to say, my mom, when I was a kid, I don't know, obviously she hadn't read this book, but I swear she had that kind of savvy in her own heart. And I still remember when I was about 9 years old, it was time for my mom to go back to work. Up until I was 9, she'd been a stay-at-home mom, you know, taking care of the kids in the house and so on. My father was in the logging industry, and he put in such long hours and was often away from the house in a logging camp. And so really a lot of the day-to-day activities were either based on his activities when he would come home on weekends or on my mother. So when she went back to work, everything still had to get done, and suddenly there was very little free time in which to get it done. And so I still remember she called together a family meeting, my father and myself and her, and she said she had made a list of all of the things that as a good and wonderful mom, she provided around the house. Everything from doing the yard work and taking care of the laundry to, well, I mean, you all know what's involved in running a household. And so she kind of laid it out on the table and said, all right, so this is our measure of success. This is everything that needs to be done. This is what we as a family are committed to providing to each other. How are we going to get it done? And I remember my father was a little shocked, I think. You know, he had that slightly male mid-century modern idea that his job was just to bring in the money and would come home and put his feet up, right? But my mom was quick to point out that now she was working too, and she needed to come home and put up her feet. And so it was really interesting because we literally all picked out of the work that needed to be done what we were willing to do to have the family really thrive. And I remember at the time, I said I would do the family's laundry, and I know that both at 9 years old, right? And so my father and my mother looked at me kind of like, you're going to do the family's laundry. And of course, I'm like, well, sure I can. I've seen how it works. The washer and the dryer are right in that room. I know about like separating out the different colors of clothes, and I've watched Mom do this. And so my mom, much in the way that's described in the book that we're using this month, she sat me down and put me through a training program. She did not for a minute think that if I was willing to do that I wouldn't be able to, right? And so she gave me the training. She showed me how to do it. She showed me how to separate the clothes, how to fold them properly, where to put them in. And I have to admit, I think somewhere along the way I thought, oh my gosh, this is a little more detailed than what I had imagined. But you know, I was up for it. And why was I up for it? Because it was contributing to something bigger than myself. I was going to help make our family successful. And you know what? I was successful at it. There were a few errors. I remember when one of Mom's sweaters accidentally got put in the dryer, and that involved getting a new sweater, I think, when it came out about this big. But other than a few errors, right? It was a wonderful experience, and it was contributing to the family. And it was what I would call in that moment, a true star system. My father, yes, still had the primary responsibility of bringing in probably 3/4 of the money of the household. My mom bringing in another quarter of the money. But I want to tell you, we all felt 100% as participation and 100% contributing honestly to the success of our family. And I have to tell you, we were successful. We went, at the time I was born, in a trailer, a small trailer in a logging camp. Within about 10 years, we owned our own home. We'd gone a long way to paying off the 2 log trucks that we were purchasing as part of my father's living. Our family was doing great. And it was because of that sense of true participation, that each one of us could see a goal of owning our own home, of participating in a certain way, of giving back to the community, and so on. And that vision was strong enough that we were able participants in this star system, if you will, where everyone was held up, everyone was given the training and the support they needed. We all were there for each other. So that's just one of the small ways that we may go about developing our own star systems. But the important thing too, it's not just a collection of people. It's a willingness on behalf of those people to do what's necessary to provide training, to provide support, to provide whatever is necessary, so that the success is individual and communal at the same time, so that no one is left behind or made to feel less than. There are no roles that are more important or less than important. Truly, everyone is treasured on the team. Well, I'd like to bring this back before we close into the area of metaphysics. You know, I've been talking a lot about people from almost a sociological perspective, and I think that's appropriate. I think we've gotten away from the idea of true team sports, if you will, and we've, as a species, moved into that place truly of competition, where it's only the rarefied few that are smart enough or good enough or whatever, and we're plunging into that rugged individualism, and I gotta say, I think that's the wrong direction to go. I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing right now, of the great division between those people who have and those people who have not. I think that's highlighting the fact that Mother Earth is in rebellion right now, and we're experiencing global warming. I think it's highlighting the division between the races and the sexes and some of the other things that are showing up as disparities on the planet. It is that idea that some of us, in order to succeed, will pull ahead and leave behind some of us that are deemed as less than. Well, it's not the way it works in the mind of God. And I must remind you that the mind of God is all there is, and the mind of God is about unity. We are all equal in the mind of God. We are all capable in the mind of God. We all have a place and a role and a job to perform that is indispensable in the eyes of God. And when we approach each other from that place of unity, from that place of recognizing the person next to me is of me and with me and indivisible from me, just another instance of Spirit itself, then I begin making different decisions in life. Then the consciousness in me merges with the consciousness of others and the consciousness of the whole, and our decisions are for the whole. It's where this idea of creating a world that works for everyone comes from, because we're all in it together. All of us as a species, all of us as a communal life on the planet, and all of us as the planet too. We begin making decisions based on the global needs and the needs of the people that we hold close to us, the needs of the people in our communities, in our nation, and in the world, because we are all made out of the same stuff which is God. And so I invite you, we're coming up to an election season where we're coming up to seasons when we have lots of choices to make, whether it's wearing masks and being healthy for each other, whether it's choosing elected officials that will represent the kind of unity and force that you want to see in the world. We're making decisions that affect everyone every single day of our lives. And when we do it from a place of recognizing we're all in this together, I think we're going to turn around what we're seeing right now. I think this every person from themselves jazz, this one country against another country, one people against another people, I think that will vanish when we begin seeing that it's a zero-sum game. And life is not a game. Life is about blessing life. Life is here to foster and raise up other life, because it is through the harmony of all of us, it is through the upliftment of all of us where we find our success. Ultimately, individual success pales. It fades. The ingenue loses her beauty. The strong man's strength begins to fade. All of those ways of competition that we see out in the world, where stars are held up as individuals, all of those kinds of accolades are very time-based. They tend to fade. I'm talking about the true star power, once again, of working together cohesively towards common goals, and that excitement, that zest for living, that enthusiasm for life and for moving forward. And when we have that in our systems of people, the true star system is born. So quickly to summarize today, we enhance our potential by surrounding ourselves with stars. And those are people who are capable, they have shared values and dreams, and we multiply that potential when they're positive stars, when they're enthusiastic, when they do what's necessary to see the positives in life. And we also can use our questions and intuition to select stars, right? We don't have to just take anyone that comes our way as a friend or a partner, right? We can use our intuition. We can use our questioning to figure out, is this person a positive person? Do we have shared goals and values, and so on? We also expand our potential further by helping others and by sharing our leadership. And finally, we model really how God works when we accept the unity of ourselves with one another. It is the very nature of spirit to be unified. And it is only when we separate ourselves from that, it's only when we want it all for our own, when we're willing to see our own success at the expense of other people, that's when things go wrong. Well, I'm going to close today with a quote from the book and, of course, a prayer. He says, "It all starts with asking the bigger questions. How do I expand my influence in an interconnected world? How am I impacting others with my life and my energy? How do I raise my potential by making others better?" I will argue that if you're not asking these questions, your potential may be limited and your success will be short-lived. This book is an exploration of the new science showing how you can lift the ceiling on your own potential, well-being, and happiness by helping others to do the same thing. In these sometimes dark and complicated times, it's important that we allow our stars to shine brightly. Let us pray. There is one power, one presence, one goodness, one thing. There is only this one thing. I call it Spirit. And what I know about Spirit is the great unity. It is that allness, that bigness, that everythingness, every person, every place, everything, every situation, all that is part of the one. that one unified consciousness of all. And what I know about it is, as we reflect that unity, as we are willing to take a look at the people who surround us and notice their star power, providing help, providing cheerleading, if you will, providing the tools and resources necessary that the stars we surround ourselves can succeed in their own right and in the right of our team, in the right of our community, truly we see the potentials of the universe unlocked. It is our ability to seek out and attract people who are not only capable, but who are positive, enthusiastic, and willing. And it is the knowledge that our teams and groups, through our true power, our willingness to make investments in time and one another, so that we all shine brightly in the constellations of our own lives. And so for this, I'm grateful for the willingness on all of our parts to be part of something bigger than just ourselves. And so I release my word. I release it into the activity, into the action of the law itself. I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Now is our time of conscious giving. If you'd like to take your gift in your hand, or perhaps it's time to go on to Tithely on your phone, or to make a donation to our website at cslportland.org. However it is you choose to participate with us, your gifts are most appreciative. I invite you, if you like, just to repeat after me. Graciously I give from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive. And now let's have another wonderful song from LaRhonda Steele and the Friends Band.
Thank you, Reverend Larry. I want to thank the Friends Band, Ken Brewer, Jim Solberg, and Donnie Schultz. I want to thank our wonderful sound man, Jim Bowie, and I want to thank our wonderful videographer, Mr. Pettyjohn. So I like to do that every Sunday because they mean so much as part of my Sunday Star group. Oh my goodness, there it is. All right, so now you have the opportunity to get up and move this beautiful body that you are in, and let's let our lights shine together. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of funky, y'all. Hey. It's kind of funky, y'all. Yes. Yeah. Hey, yeah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This love light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Help me sing it, y'all. Say, this little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, say, I'm gonna let it shine. Together, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. See, Spirit lives in me, and I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yes, Spirit lives in me, and I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, Spirit lives in you and me, and I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Come on, let it shine now. Go, kid, go, kid, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, 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 let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Just like we practiced it.
Nut. Well, I think we've got quite a star system going here. Bless you, band. Bless you, LaRhonda. Well, just a couple parting thoughts. One, we're here for prayer support. If you've got something going on in your life where you'd like some prayer support, please know we're absolutely here for you. On our website at cslportland.org, at the bottom of every single page is a link for submitting a prayer request. As soon as you do that, it's automatically emailed out to all 12 of our licensed practitioners. Honestly, it would be our great pleasure to pray for you. The other thing I want to just make sure you're aware of, and again, you can get the details of it on our website. On the very front page, there's a link, a Zoom link, for attending a reception for our new minister, Reverend Marilyn Sprague. And so you definitely want to go to the website, click on that Zoom link, and join us at 12:30 for a celebration of her most amazing transformation from plain old Marilyn into Reverend Marilyn. So please take us up on that. We'll spend about an hour hearing some words of wisdom from Marilyn and sharing some of our love with her. So you won't want to miss that. Thank you all, and so glad you're here. And I think it's time for a closing song.
We are. I am love, I am loving, I am love. I am love, I am loving, I am love. It's the truth of who I am. If I forget, Spirit reminds me again that I am love, I am loving, I am love. You are love, you are loving, you are love. You are love, you are loving, you are love. It's the truth of who you are. Shine your light near, yes, near and far. You are love, you are loving, you are love. We are love, we are loving, we are love. We are love, we are loving, we are love. See, it's the truth of who we are. Shine our lights near, yes, near and far. We are love, we are loving, we are love. You are love, you are loving, you are love. Inward, I am love, I am loving, I am love. Blessing.
If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We have inspirational services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our online listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.